Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to go over digital modelers versus traditional amplifiers. Stay tuned. What is up, you guys? It's your boy Luis Torres, and yes, I'm going to go over the whole digital modelers versus traditional amplifiers. Not really versus, but just kind of going over the two. So clearly, I've invested a handful on regular traditional amplifiers, and it's not like I've never spent a few dimes on digital modelers. But funny enough, someone earlier today shared a photo that featured Testament's touring rig. And it shows Alex Skolnick's gear versus, or alongside his guitarist in the band. And what they have is a laptop. I'm assuming there's got to be an interface somewhere, along with a 2 Notes Le Crunch, right? Is that what that is? Pedal, alongside a 2 Notes Cab M, and I'm assuming that runs out to the house's PA system, and that's how they project their music. Also, one of my buddies was just like, yo, they kind of sounded weak compared to the other two bands they were playing with, which were Exodus and Death Angel. But funny enough, the other two bands went digital also. So of course that's just, front of house engineering kind of issue. So what do you guys like? Listen, there's something to be said when the two guitarists from Cradle of Filth literally, where's my other pedal? Right here. There's something to be said when the guitarists of Cradle of Filth are literally traveling with this. This is their gear. Guitar, these two pedals. Well, really, it's the 5050, which is an EVH clone, but you basically get the idea. But literally, it's these two pedals and their guitar, and they're like, let's go. So the convenience of having something this small is amazing. My Headrush pedal board is incredible. The introduction to my videos that I now have, I wrote that song using my Headrush and EZdrummer 2 the other night. So those two, they're amazing. They really are. And as far as the tone goes, when it comes down to the cab simulator, trying to sound like a Mesa 412 with V30s, it's there. The clone for the rectifier, it is there, and it's in a tiny package. And I absolutely love it because I just hit the on button and go. Don't have to necessarily dial anything in. Don't have to deal with a bunch of speakers either. But, yo, I'm old. I love my amplifiers. I love having pedals. I have so on the side, dude. I'm like cuckoo when it comes down to owning pedals and having them. And I just feel like they're so important, So you guys leave on the comment below. Let me know what you guys like. You can like the two, like me. I seriously love the two equally as much. There's no, it's not a tug of war where one's trying to outdo the other, because they are equally as useful, equally as great. If I were to go ahead and play a live show right now, I would not, this is just me, I would not bring a digital modeler. That's just me. I actually have friends that do exactly that. Me, I would bring a rectifier full stack, probably even go as far as a rectifier full stack along with my JCM 800 full stack that I have also, because I have, I think it's like 7 Marshall 1960 412 cabinets in the basement, just because I collect, and it's just like, oh, someone's selling one for $100, I'll buy it. So that's how that's how that happened. So let me go ahead. I'm actually going to play. I mean, it's been a while since I've actually used it, but I actually have a 1996 ESP Mirage custom snakeskin from ESP's 48th Street Custom Shop, which is just the guitar that you want. You want an ESP from the 48th Street Custom Shop. And I remember being a 15-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid, literally going from high school and going over to 48th Street in Manhattan and walking down the street. And, you know, it's basically you're basically off Broadway at that point, but you walk through the theater district and you come along 48th Street, and both sides of this one street just had tons of guitar shops. And one of them was 48th Street Custom, which was ESP's second US location for their custom guitars. It used to be located on 36th Street, if I'm not mistaken, 34th, and then they moved it to 48th Street. So I'm going to play out of this guy. Let me go ahead and switch over. Huge shout out to Pete Frischman. Funny enough, I'm actually the ESP owners or one of the moderators in the group, and he reached out to me about a photo that he had posted on in the group. And funny enough, he's actually looking for this guitar, one like it, 48th Street Custom ESP snakeskin. So guys, you know, it has the old Jackson style headstock pre lawsuit. So if you guys out there find or see or know anyone that has an early ESP Mirage custom with snakeskin, you'll usually see 48th Street on the back, or the New York City P.O. box that they had in the city. So if you see one, you know, holler at me and I'll give the info to Pete. I only know of one other person that has this same guitar. I have this one, and Scott Campbell owns the other one, and Scott owns like 300 ESPs. It's something crazy. But I know that there are hundreds more out there. So again, if you know anyone that has this ESP, it's a deluxe, so it'll have a humbucker and a single coil, and that's it. Give me a shout out, shoot me an email, or just message me here, and I'll reach out over to Pete and give him the heads up. So I'm actually playing out of my La Boga Mr. Hector, running through my Marshall 212 cabinet loaded with Celestion V30s. And I'm using, that's right guys, my Boss SD1 Super Overdrive pedal, because that thing is incredible. So So I absolutely love that guitar. The history with this ESP is that it used to belong to Mark Gallagher, who was the guitarist of Raven, who was part of the whole British invasion in the late 70s, early 80s with Iron Maiden. And they're known for having been the big touring band that basically gave a little unknown band called Metallica their shot at opening up for them during one of their tours. And after that, they completely blew up to where they're now buying $12 million houses. So that guitar I ended up buying from Mark Gallagher at such a great price, but I also promised him that if he were to sell it to me, I would in fact breathe a completely new life into it. Once it arrived, it was in completely awful condition, and I spent a little bit to make sure that it got up to speed, and that's what it sounds like. It has Seymour Duncan pickups, all new electronics inside. The tip of the headstock was actually broken off when they toured in Japan one year, and it was sheared off and put back on in a really terrible, awful looking way. And I sent it to my local shop. They had someone come in and break it off and reattach it. So it's absolutely incredible now. So when I was talking to Pete, he was looking for this guitar, and my buddy who's out in Australia was just like, hey, reach out to Luis Torres because I think he has one. And then he actually tagged me in it. And of course, I'm looking at this photo. I'm like, that's my guitar. Of course it's not, but he actually wanted one just like it. So the only other person that I know that has one is Scott Campbell, and that guy owns, so many rare ESPs, including one of the guitarists from Queensryche had a custom ESP Horizon double neck built, and I think there are only two in existence. Scott bought his. So, just to give you an idea, he's the guy that's just like, oh, Page Hamilton is selling his ESP Horizon, I'll buy it. And, he just all of a sudden has it in his possession. So, so that guitar is so dear to me because my first album that I ever bought was by Raven, and this guitar was actually used on 6 of Raven's albums. So, but again, guys, if you know anyone that has, again, a mid-80s, this is a 1986 ESP Mirage. I think they made them through 1988. But if you know anyone that has the snakeskin, shoot me a message, tag me in something. That way I can just reach out to Pete and just give him the heads up that that someone is looking to sell their ESP snakeskin. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for watching. You guys are the absolute best. Hit the subscribe button and the bell if you haven't. Thank you so much again. And as usual, I'll talk to you guys soon.